Good morning, everyone. Sir, first and foremost, I want to thank you and your team for organizing GCARD 2012 Summit and giving farmers the opportunity to participate in the process and deliberations. There are positive, visible changes happening at the GCARD, and that's very good. There is a continued great distress and disgust amongst the small farmer families across the world. And the cause is very simple. It's the sickening inequality. The top richest 100 people in the world control as much wealth as 1 billion small farmer families. And this cannot go on like this. That's why it becomes absolutely necessary that agriculture research, development, and better policies can change that equation. The source of funding leads to an action of a kind, leads to research of a kind, and sometimes that research is undesirable. Farmers must have a more participatory role in the CRP process and activities and objectives so as to be equitable partners. We need structured, transparent process involving the farming community. The task before us is very difficult because urban society controls the policy making of the world. And the focus of the urban society is cheap food. And these is what I would want to deliberate on today. Every government and institution wants to increase agriculture production, while every farmer wants to increase his profitability and become self-sustaining. These are divergent goals, and that must be understood. The irony of the matter is that farmers are the people who are supposed to feed the world, are hungry and poor themselves. And this is because of these divergent goals. Only when farming and agriculture becomes a profitable profession will we be able to achieve these objectives of production, ending hunger and poverty, and it cannot be otherwise. We farmers urge you to change your priorities to make agriculture profitable first, which will actually lead to achieving your other objectives. Our suggestions for the CDR research would be simply as follows. Key to any agriculture revolution is revitalizing extension services to transfer existing knowledge from the laboratories into a farm practice. And there is a lot of existing knowledge which is not reaching the farming community. As we optimize input application, we will reduce use of chemicals and pesticides. There is a yield difference between, I live in a village, I'm a farmer myself, I'm a citrus farmer, and I can tell you from my personal experience that there is a yield difference between the best farm in the village and the worst farm in the village. Then there is a yield difference between the best farm in the village and the nearest research center. If we can bridge that gap, most of our problems will automatically get solved. And that's what we should be focusing on. We need more research in incorporating organic practices into the mainstream, but they have to be economically sustainable. For in any environmentally sustainable idea that everyone's talking about, for it to become a common practice, it must be understood that it has to make economic sense for that individual farmer in the immediate term, in his immediate crop. You cannot go to a farmer and tell him to do environmentally sustainable practices, which will actually save the environment 100 years from now, while he keeps suffering. It's not going to happen, and that must be understood. We must devote more energy and emphasis on animal husbandry and aquaculture because that's what's required for the smallholder farmer. And there seems to be a loss of focus on that. Resources are limited for most developing countries and for most individual, in fact, for all individual small farmer families. Problems of developing countries are far more critical than the developed world, and success stories of the developed world cannot be replicated in developing countries. It is very important that vulnerable societies and countries to incorporate new technology as a resource liberating mechanism. And that is the way forward. Most small farmers doing farming today are doing so because of lack of other opportunities. Only residual talent is left to work on the farm today. By making agriculture remunerative, we will be able to retain the best youth, the best educated, best hardworking youth in farming. And to achieve that, it's very nice because this GCARD has focused on post-harvest also. There's been session on post-harvest application of market linkages, because without that, the profit on the for farm produce is not going to come. There are a lot of success stories and good practices and innovations happening on small family farms across the world. We need to document these, and we need to dissipate that information across the world, as has been started by APARI. And that's very important, because there's so much that is happening that nobody knows about. So that needs to be done. One thing I'm really sad about is that 2012 was the year of the cooperatives. And we would have really hoped that if cooperatives had been a part of this session today, because that is the final last mile connectivity to the farmer, to the smallholder farmer, and that's the way forward. This list is just a beginning, it's not complete, and we hope for a better future, and we have hope, and we are sure we will get there. Finally, we request that the next GCARD, at least 25% of the members attending the conference must be from the farming community themselves. Thank you once again for organizing this fabulous event, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much.